Hi there, this is Steven, director of My Extraordinary Summer with Tess, and thank you all for watching the movie, and thank you also for sending me questions. And I got the questions here on my phone, and I'm gonna try to answer your questions right now. So there we go. From Latvia, there's a question: where was this film filmed? Well, it's filmed on an island called Terschelling in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful island in the north of the Netherlands. It was all shot on this island. And from Arvina in Latvia as well, she wants to know, is there really sand on the seashore that your feet can get stuck and can't be pulled out? Is it so dangerous that you can drown? The answer is yes. At some parts on this island, there are mud flats. It depends on the tide. And it's very dangerous when you walk there. You can really get stuck in the sand. So be careful. A question from Moscow, Russia. At the beginning of the film, there's a shot of how Tess and Sam ride on different roads on bicycles after the conflict. Have you specially looked for these locations, or was the episode written without a specific place in mind? Well, the episode was written first, and so you have the script first, and after we were looking for the best locations. So we found this beautiful spot with those two roads, and we made a shot with a drone camera. So it was a beautiful shot, in my opinion. So from Austria, there's a question: why do you enjoy making films for children? Well, I think it's I like to talk about this kind of topics. I think it's a very important time of your life when you're a teenager and you're gonna explore the world, and the changement from a child to adult. So I like this to talk about this kind of topics, and I also like to work with kids, with children actors. So yeah, that's why. From Bulgaria, how did you get the idea for the aloneness training which Sam practices? Well, it's a little part in the book already. So the film is based on the book, and this practice was already in the book, but we decided to make it bigger in a movie and to call it aloneness training. So it was the writer of the book, but also the writer of the script who invented this thing. Sean in Britain asks, were there any parts of the novel which you changed for the film? Interesting question. Yes, there are some parts we changed. For example, when Tess tells Sam that Hugo is her father, in the book it's very quickly. We decided to make it more exciting and to make it more as a secret, and we decided to tell it much later in the movie. The character of Hille is much different from the book, and there are some other new characters in the movie. So yes, we made some changements, but I think like the soul of the book, like the biggest part of the story, is included in the film. So next question from Marilia from Cyprus. She wants to know, or Cyprus, I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Why did you choose the fear of staying alone, something that everyone has at the back of their mind, but perhaps won't admit to it, as the main message of your film? So why do I want to talk about these difficult topics? Well, I think it's very important that a lot of people have these kind of thoughts about being alone or the fear of death. And I think it's very important to talk about these topics. And I like to talk about it with a light tone of voice. So the film is not only about this topic, but also about love, family, relationships, about summer. But I think it's also important to talk about this very important topic. Hanna from Poland asks, did you experience any problems while shooting a film? Well, not really problems, but it was very challenging to shoot on an island in the middle of the summer in high season, and we were with a group of 50 people, so sometimes it was very difficult to shoot on locations where there were more tourists and to get the money for this movie as well. It's always challenging. But shooting in the high season, that's the most challenging thing. Laura from Estonia wants to know how old were the characters of Tess and Sam, and how old were the young actors who played them? Well, Tess and Sam, they are 11 and 12 years old in the movie. And actors, Josephine, who was playing Tess, she was 13 years old while we were shooting. And Sonny was already 14 years old, who played Sam. So they are a bit older than they look in the movie. Anna from Serbia asks, what scene was the hardest? Well, I think shooting on the mud flat when Sam gets stuck in the sand, that was the hardest because it is a really dangerous place. Or we had to be quick with the crew and the equipment because when the water comes, you cannot film anymore. You have to be away. So that was the most difficult scene with special equipment. Then the last question from Erfurt in Germany. Which scene was the funniest to shoot? I think the scene where the father is playing guitar and acting as a Spanish guitar player, and it was very fun to shoot. And I was looking on the video screen and I was crying, I had to laugh so much. So it was the most funny scene. So thank you so much for sending me all the questions, and see you at the ceremony. Ciao.